Be'ezrat Hashem, we're back at the limud over here in the Halachot of Shabbat. Halachot Siman Reish Mem Vav. Lending or renting to a goy. We discussed yesterday the Siman in Shulchan Aruch, Seif Aleph. And today we're going to continue with Mishnah Berurah in reference to his outlook, what we have, even though we touched yesterday a little bit Mishnah Berurah, but it's kedai to go over in more detail. So Seif Katan Aleph, Mishnah, today is the 27th of Tishrei, Tuesday, the third day of the week of Parashat Shabbat, Parashat Noach. Bezrat Hashem. So Seif Katan Aleph, Mutar lehashil. Hello, איזה טלפון יש בידיו שלך? מותר להשאיר. We said yesterday, you're allowed to lend a goy your kelim that he will be able to work, that you make money off, even though you get paid for it. Right? But mutar le'ashir u'la'askir. So the Mishnah Berurah wants to concentrate on the lending aspect. Who says this? Which Rishonim point out? As we know, when the Shulchan Aruch goes by two giants, three giants, Riv, Rosh, and Rambam. Whenever he has two against one, that's the halacha. So here Mishnah Berurah right away points out, this is the famous machloket, right? Remember that machloket? We have a safek. We really don't know what Shulchan Aruch meant. Sometimes he brings down the halacha, like yesterday. He told us you're allowed to give it to him erev Shabbat, and then he brings you an opinion that doesn't allow it. So the important question is, what does Shulchan Aruch hold? Why is he bringing two shitot? The halacha is one of them. There's a true halacha here, right? So yesterday he told us, yes, you're allowed to. And then he told us, some say you're not allowed to. So what does Shulchan Aruch hold? So many hold that Yesh Omrim, that the Yesh Omrim is the halacha. So Mishnah Berurah right away is pointing out to you that the halacha that Shulchan Aruch brought to you, the first halacha that says you're allowed to lend and rent utensils to a goy or machinery to a goy, and he brings you to who are the opinions that are allowed. So right away he tells you it's the Rif and the Rambam. It means it's two against one. There's already a Rif and Rambam that say it's allowed. So Shulchan Aruch brings you those two shitot. Now you could say, wait a minute, even though it's two against one, that's halacha. Throughout the whole Shulchan Aruch, that's how Maran Yosef Karo, that's how he paskins, usually two against one. So what is happening here? So right away, the Mishnah Berurah wants to point out, here we see, this is the classic of Shulchan Aruch. He brings you the halacha that says it's allowed, and Mishnah Berurah wants to point out it's Riv and Rambam. Usviro lehu dehad Tanya lo yaskir ke'elav le'eno Yehudi be'erev Shabbat. And brought down over there, where they're learning it from, the Rif and the Rambam. What is it related to? It's related to what it says over there in reference to a Braita. The Braita says, Lo yaskir ke'elav le'eno Yehudi be'erev Shabbat. The Braita told us that you shall not rent utensils or items that could use with the malacha on Shabbat to a goy, even erev Shabbat. That's what the Braita says. So meaning, there's a makor in the Gemara that says you're not allowed to. Ubarevi'i v'chamishi mutar. The Braita continues and says, however, if you're renting it starting the 4th and the 5th day, meaning Wednesday and Thursday, then it's going to be allowed. That's the Braita says. Hu mitam shivitat kelim de'asu. That Braita held that we have a law of shvitat kelim. As we said yesterday, it's not true. Okay, remember, there is a machloket. We said, your animal, you're not allowed to work on Shabbat. Your animals, you're obligated to make sure they don't work on Shabbat. But we hold le'alacha that all your belongings don't have an obligation not to work on Shabbat. Then we would have a big problem. How you have light on Shabbat, how you have candles on Shabbat, how you have fire, how you have anything working on Shabbat. If you tell me that all my belongings are prohibited to make any job on Shabbat, not allowed to do any performance of any malacha, then I would be asur to do anything.
אם אתה אומר ככה, אז יש לך למשל, אמרת...
English. You speak English better than me.
You
What
said
do you speak
fire.
Hebrew?
You said fire.
Right.
I assume a fireplace in the middle of Russia. It's cold in the
Yeah, so
winter.
well, how can you have a fireplace?
Yeah, but okay, you start the fire before Shabbat.
So now, that's the question. If you tell me that all my utensils, all my belongings are prohibited to work on Shabbat, then I would not be allowed to have anything working in my house.
No, my
No
question
fire,
different.
no work, nothing to be allowed to do anything.
My
Yeah.
question different. In
Yeah.
some point of a time, you need to add wood to the
Oh,
fireplace.
very good. So you're asking.
So what I do melacha.
Oh, very good. You don't do malacha. So the question would be, in the olden days, how would they warm up the houses? We will get there. Shulchan Aruch will talk about it. We're not there yet. It's a good question, right? But that's a separate question. There's nothing to do with what we're saying right now. I'm going to say it differently. If you tell me that I am obligated to, all my belongings are prohibited to do work, so how would I have anything? How would I have chamin b'chla? How would I have warm food? How would I have lights in the Shabbat in my house?
Right.
So the halacha is we don't hold like this Mishnah, the Breita. The Breita tells us that you're not allowed to have all your belongings to do anything malacha. Okay? Who mitam sfitat kelim dasur. Moshe, we're in the third line in Mishnah Berurah. The third line here, Habibi. Okay? Ve'atya kibeit shamai desvira lehu adam metzuveh ashvitat keilav. Over there, the Breita was established that Beit Shammai are the ones who said this Breita, and they're very stringent that you're not allowed to have any of your belongings doing anything on Shabbat. Kemo al shvitat behemto, just like your animal. That's what Beit Shammai hold. We're in the fourth line in Mishnah Berurah. Seif Aleph, you there?
Aleph.
Seif Aleph, Mishnah Berurah, Seif Katan Aleph, fourth line. Okay? Sorry, fifth line now. Aval, fifth line, the third word. Aval Beit Hillel tzvira lehu shvitat kelim ein adam metzuveh aleh. Beit Hillel says, I don't know what you're talking about. I am not nowhere in the Torah. We have nowhere Rabbanan, nothing. Nobody is telling us that all your belongings are prohibited to do any work on Shabbat. Me, Yasur. My slaves, Asur. My children, Asur. My wife, Asur. All my belongings, livestock, Asur.
Object. No problem.
Object, no problem.
אז איך יש לך...
וממילא...
אז איך יש לך גוי של שבת עם אסור?
He's not yours. He's not your goy. Yeah, Eved.
בשבת אתה מביא מישהו מחוץ לגדרות?
Yes, lechora. That's a good question. Yom Tov saying, wait a minute, we had avadim, right? It's like if I'm going to start telling a goy, my servant, good. So what you do in this case would be allowed. You tell your servant a goy, go tell another servant. So when a goy tells another goy, I'm telling my goy, right? I'm telling him I need a light over here. Good. So he goes and he tells another goy, that would be shvud. The shvud is not asur. Right?
Shvud is not asur.
Yeah. Shvud, the shvud, we not so pashur, not so, what's his name? It's
It
different.
breaks it like a...
Yeah. I didn't say to this goy to turn on the light. He told it to him. You understand? That
That's
goy,
a trick, but...
of course, we're in business of tricks. Remember, this is Judaism.
Snoozing around.
Somebody wants to happen. This is the business of Judaism. We want to make sure that we're not guilty in transgressions. So we find a heterim here and there.
You cannot say directly Shabbat.
Right.
Do this,
No, but you said the point because the slave is forced, right? A slave is under you, so anything again. But we still have the rules of hinting. So maybe you could hint to the goy, you don't like, you know what to do. He goes to the next
But
goy.
you got to understand also. Then you tell him to tell
let me take my words back. Baruch Hashem, we're here to discuss exactly that, to have it more settled in our minds. You're going to be asking all these questions. It's all going to be brought down little by little. Okay, let's go into it. You're with us, Zohar. וממילא מותר להשאיר ולהזכיר כליו אפילו בערב שבת.
Yes.
אין אדם מצווה. So since we are not obligated to be meticulous with our objects, not to perform work on Shabbat, we're not commanded to prevent our objects. So therefore, it's going to be allowed to give it as a landing idea to a goy to perform tasks with it on Shabbat. ואפילו כלים שעושים בהם מלאכה. even the utensils, it's a bobcat or something, anything that people use to perform actual work. ומכל מקום, גם מהם סביר הלימוד. לכל הכלים אין היתר להזכיר רק בהבלעה. And again, so even in that situation, the only reason that it was allowed to rent out to a goy is where you're not notel schar Shabbat. It has to be, you're not specifically making money of Shabbat. You're doing it with avla'ah, with the mixture of other days in it. Thursday, Friday, whatever, right? Not Shabbat specifically. It has to be with a package deal. Aval lo al Shabbat lechud. But specifically, if you make money on Shabbat, to renting an item for Shabbat, specifically on Shabbat, that would be prohibited. Number 5 says Mishnah Ish Mazliach. There's a long one over here. So he says like this. Are you inside Mishnah Mazliach, number 5? So he's going to bring you down Matei Yehuda. כתב שלדעת הרמב"ם שהוא סתם מרן מותר אף שלא בהבלעה. No? Rambam says I don't care. Even you're allowed to take sachar of Shabbat from a goy. Which are number 5, the Mishnah Berurah. Ish Mazliach. Yeah, so he says that Matei Yehuda is pointing out that according to Rambam and what Maran paskins, that you are allowed to rent to a goy specifically on Shabbat. You tell him, Habibi, you want it at Shabbos morning, Saturday morning, come take the tool. It costs $700 a day, the truck. You can take it.
He comes to you on
Shabbat and takes it from your property.
in the morning,
no
and
problem.
He tells you, I need to rent from you.
Yeah, yes, he says, no problem. Even without Avla'ah. Even specifically only for a few hours on Shabbat. You're allowed to, according to Rambam. Who continues Ish Mazliach. ושן כן כתב הרמב"ן במלחמות סוף פרק שבת. Ramban also says that's allowed. B'shem HaRavad, the name of Ravad, the Dat Hariv, in explanation of Riv. So you have here all the giants, all the Rishonim. Ramban, Riv, Ra'avad, they all agree. You're allowed to tell a goy, go take the item, rent it on Shabbat, no problem. You sign a contract with him before, and he takes it on Shabbat specifically, and the entire work is 4 hours during the afternoon of Shabbat, or from the morning till afternoon. You make your money, no problem whatsoever. This is the 4
This if you
pillars.
sign before Shabbat.
Yeah, no, you're not signing
But
anything on
if
Shabbat.
you come in
Okay,
Shabbat
so
morning.
we did. We already said addressed that yesterday. What are you asking again? We said yesterday. There's going to be even heter where you send it to him on Shabbat. Go take a loan. I'm giving it to you, and then he come back with a Habibi. You don't have to pay for it. You said those words. I'm giving it to you. Go take it. Go use it. Here's the key. You didn't say anything about money. On Sunday you came to him. It cost, and he knows it costs. That's your business. He and his mate understood right away it was going to cost him. That also is going to be allowed. We said that yesterday. Where were you? You forgot. He's tarot the whole day. He's working. Washing his mind. Habibi, let's pay attention. Yeah, we'll be good. We said that yesterday. Habibi, I don't understand this. He told me 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago I said it. Man, you forgot. I understand. Come on. Okay, let's go.
Rabbi, can you please repeat this case again? I got distracted a little bit. I was getting in the car.
So, I was just, the reason why you got distracted is because I was attacking Yom Tov over here at Tzaddik. It's a big thing that when people attack people start forgetting Torah. You see Moshe Rabbeinu, attacked, as long as he opened Torah, or his mouth 3 times, he forgot the Torah. It's clearly. You attack your Talmidim, you forget Torah. Here I'm attacking him on purpose. I hope Hashem is going to... Anyway, the beautiful thing here says like this, number 5 is Ish Mazliach. He brings down Matei Yehuda, who brings down 4 giants, Rambam, Riv, Ramban, and Hara'abad. The 4 giants. Those are the pillars of the entire halacha. And they tell us you are allowed to rent utensils on Shabbat even, just for Shabbat, and you could make the money and keep it. Ayen Sham. So that's what the number 5 I'm reading. So we're in the 5th line of number 5. Umashi katav v'matei Yehuda. Hainu lida'at yesh omrim. So now what is this yesh omrim? Who are this coming and telling us asur? Who are they? Ayen Sham. It's not like Kafachayim. היינו לדעת יש אומרים עיין שם דלא כגפיים ועיין עוד בהזון עובדיה in Halachot Shabbat, Chelek Vav, Amud Yud, so Rav Ovadia talks about it, שהביא עוד ראשונים שכתבו כדברי המטה יהודה, ושכן עיקר. So Rav Ovadia is endorsing this idea that you're allowed to rent to Goy on Shabbat, no problems, make money from Shabbat, no problem at all. It's your kelim, it's not you. Yom Tov's yesterday question, hey, it says Rabbi Sofer's bus company. How is he running it on Shabbat? No problem, not your problem. What's the problem? You're not running it. So the Jew's going to say he's running it for you. We're not going to Allah says mutar, mutar, mazar. You hear? Umikol makom. Oh, now this is the Rishonim. Everybody agrees, and that's the halacha. And Rav Ovadia Yosef says you must follow the Rishonim. Says Ish Mazliach, with all due respect. Are you there with me? We're in right in the middle. Umikol makom. There's a dot over there. Mikol makom in the middle of number 5. You see? Mamash in the middle. Here, you have Moshe. Umikol makom right here in the middle. You see it? Zohar, are you there with me? Umikol makom. Rov ha'achronim matzrechim habla'ah. With all due respect to Rav Ovadia and to all the Rishonim, with all due respect, we are choshesh to Rabbi Yom Tov's question, and it's a very important question. How can a bus, Rabbi Sofer's bus company, work on, or Monsey Bus Trails, work on Shabbat? Monsey Bus Trails, and everybody knows it's Jewish, or Lakewood Bus Trails. How are you going to make them work on Shabbat? Says, only one way it's allowed. Most Rishonim Achronim are accepting the idea, only if you rented it prior to Shabbat.
Not only
Ba'abla'ah, throughout the whole week. וכן משמעות דברי מרן בבית יוסף דלכולי עלמא אין להתיר אלא בהבלעה. It sounds like Bet Yosef, even though Maran Shulchan Aruch paskins like the Rishonim, like he's supposed to, the pillars, that's the halacha is based on. Nevertheless, in Bet Yosef, he is more leaning to the Yom Tov's concern. Rabbi Yom Tov here is a big tzaddik. He had a big concern yesterday, and he's still bothered by it. He says, Rabbi Sofer putting me down. I'm going to give you over the head. It was a chutzpan. This is an important concern. What about chshad? We just went through 2 or 3 months discussing this whole concept of chshad, of speculation. So Yom Tov is here through every day. He's listening. He's listening diligently. Chshad is a very important. Huh?
Sometimes we all have it.
No, but it's chshad. People will suspect that you're working as a Shabbat.
Yeah.
So that's
They
what
see
bothers
the
you.
bus. They didn't see the driver.
Yeah.
They see the bus driving in Shabbat.
Right. No, we're not worried about the Rabbi Sofer is going to be driving the bus. Everybody knows Rabbi Sofer does not drive a bus. But it says Rabbi Sofer's bus, so maybe Rabbi Sofer hired workers on Shabbat. Rabbi Sofer is short on cash in his yeshiva construction, so now he's hiring goyim on Shabbat to make money. It's asur. Chshad is very important. וכן פסק במנחס אהבה, also brought down the הלכה, ואפילו בכמה שעות לפני אחרי שבת די. However, as long as the Achronim agree that as long as there is money involved before Shabbat and after Shabbat in the rental, that will be allowed. Because now you could
So it has to be done before.
Before and after, not specifically on Shabbat, where a goy comes to you on Shabbat morning and says, I need your truck or I need your, what's his name, bobcat to dig for 4 hours. That will be asur to give it to him before Shabbat. You tell him, if he's coming to you on Wednesday, you have to rent it for the whole week. Right? Because you remember, you have fees. So he's going to tell you, it's too much money. So you tell him, okay, you have to rent it 5 hours before Shabbat and for 1 hour after Shabbat, or whatever it is, something like that. Then it will be no problem.
Friday morning, bring it Sunday morning. So
No, but again, that's not the point. He has to pay you for the Friday. That's what we're talking about. That's where the questions will be. The guy is going to say, I only need you for 4 hours on Shabbat. What's going on? Habibi, go find yourself a different rental company. Now, this is, again, we said yesterday, let's never forget, it's all about your affordability, if you can afford it. Imagine a Jew, Rahmanan Islam, he didn't work, nothing. Right? So he could follow the Shulchan Aruch. He has no money, no parnasah. Finally, the guy comes and says, I want to rent something from you. And I'm going to rent it. And you got to know, one more important business, or this business of rentals. Today you're not available, he's going to find the next dealer.
Exactly.
You're done for life.
Yeah.
So all those things have to be calculated by a rabbi before he opens his mouth. A rabbi has to know exactly who he's dealing with, what he's dealing with, before opening your psak halacha. Before you give psak halacha. If, let's say, you're Caterpillar, you know what Caterpillar is? Billions of dollars, they care about you. He's asking you, you could answer. However, even the Caterpillar, who is using Caterpillar the most? Governments. They're all government contracts. You can't play games over there. So again, it has to be a rabbi that's asked the question. He has to know exactly how to paskin. We cannot say to be a tzaddik and then let the guy, let's collect money for his because he broke. That's not something we do. Even there, you should be more meticulous. And usually, contracts of the government contracts are usually longer than Shabbat. They're weeks, months,
You're
years.
working the whole time, so it's not a problem with the contract.
Right? Yeah.
We're just saying
You buy the tool and you never see it. You just go to the site and you never see the tool.
Yeah.
The government keep paying for the
Yeah.
tool.
It's amazing, right? The governments come to rent from your hammer. It costs you $12, $13, $15, okay, $14 to buy it. A nice hammer. The government is paying $1,000 a day just to rent it from you. It's amazing. There's Rashaim over there, what they do.
That's happened. You
Yes,
buy
sir.
a big shofar for example. Yeah,
I tell you
it's
why.
$500,000, but they rented
No, I tell you why.
It's cost
I tell you why. The goy,
thousands of thousands.
the government, the government is not allowed to own property. There's a lot of
No.
problems. Yeah, they're not allowed to own. There's a problem with if you own it, you have to storage and the whole zach. Where they're gonna? Don't forget, federal land is not for storage.
makes sense what you're saying. So
Federal-
they don't have any stock. So there's when they come and they do bids and they find.
Yeah,
Ah.
There's a lot of rules and
There's a
regulations.
good thing here about government. There's all kinds of cool. Anyways.
Yeah. If you know how to tap into it, you can become
Yeah,
a
yeah.
very rich person. But
They acting like management company, not like
Yeah.
government.
Yeah, exactly. Well said.
because don't forget, the question is where are you going to store it? That's a big problem. Because you
Storage
can't. You
and
think you have all this
paid
federal
and
land?
everything. They don't have that.
You have all this federal
So
land.
the offices they have and people working in there.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, maybe we'll delve into learning one time about this American government, how they operate. This shigginess. Okay, let's continue in Mishnah Berurah. So number 5, you see Mishnah Berurah number 5. We were just sidetracked to Ish Mazliach. You were asked Zohar. Zohar, are you there? I don't know.
Yes, Rabbi, I'm here. I'm just driving.
Were you driving? You're not supposed to be driving. You're supposed to be looking at Mishnah Berurah. What driving?
No, I'm not driving. My friend alone is driving. I'm looking at
Mishnah Berurah. Okay. Look inside Mishnah Berurah. We're about 10 lines down into Mishnah Berurah. Continue. You there? Afilu im maskiran b'tchilat hashavua. So it continues Mishnah Berurah. That if the ze have schar Shabbat. Okay. וכמו שכתוב אחר כך לפיה יש אומרים. So again. לא על השבת דחות. So you're not allowed to. Mishnah Berurah says he holds like the second opinion. ויש אומרים. If you're making money specifically on Shabbat, and that's the Achronim that Ibn Mazliach brings down, that you're not allowed to make money on Shabbat. Okay. זה לא מצינו מי שמכיר. It says, over here we don't find it. Mishnah Berurah is saying we don't find anybody who's making. But right now we already learned Ish Mazliach is bringing you all the Rishonim who mekil. Like it looks like Achronim are more mahmir. Okay, and Rav Ovadia doesn't agree with all Achronim. He agrees with Rishonim. As we saw just now in Chazon Ovadia. והיש אומרים היא דעת הרב רבינו יונה דעה ברייתא לא אסרה משום שביתת כלים. So who is this Yesh Omrim? So it says Rav Mishnah Berurah, first thing, it's Rabbeinu Yonah. Another Rishon, a giant. Rabbeinu Yonah is not a small person. We're talking Rabbeinu Yonah. There's no questions about it. Ela kekuli alma atya. So, mishum de shvitat kelim. It's not Braita lo asra mishum shvitat kelim. He says no. That over there's a machloket, right? In the Braita, remember we learned about lo yaskir kelav le'ena Yehudi be'erev Shabbat. The Braita told us that you should not rent items to your utensils to go on Erev Shabbat. Rabbeinu Yonah explains over there, it's not talking about because of Shvitat Shabbat. It's not because of Shvitat Shabbat. Ela lekule al me'atya. It's only telling you that generally you shouldn't do it. Why? The reason is, דכשימסר בערב שבת את הכלים שעושים בהכרחה בהן והעין היהודי יעשה בהן מיד בשבת, when you give items to a goy erev Shabbat, that he will work for them on Shabbat, nira kemo she'oseh melachto b'shlichuto shel Israel. It's not because shvitat kelim, Rabbi Yohan explains why the Braita says it's asur. It's because of Rabbi Yom Tov's chashash. Rabbi Yom Tov is very diligent. Yesterday he told us, because of suspicion, people will say he's working for you on Shabbat. That's what said. Rabbi Yonah explains. He's also Rishon, and he's explaining that's what the Gemara meant. That's what the Braita means. That it's talking about chshat. It's not suspicion, not because of that you're not allowed to have your utensils working on Shabbat. V'ze asur, and that's going to be asur because you're not allowed to send a goy to perform work for you on Shabbat. The amira le'ena Yehudi shivut. Telling a goy to perform a task for you Shabbat, that's prohibited. V'afal gav the siman reish nun bet sa'iv bet continues Berurah. Even though we're going to learn soon in siman 252, we're in 246. Over there in halacha 2, itat b'sharei liten orot le'abdan im ha'chashecha. Right? The enu Yehudi adat adnafshi kavet kivan de katzat tzatz lo damim. So like this, you're allowed to tell. It says over there, you're allowed to tell a goy liten orot le'abdan. You're allowed to give your leather to make it soft, right? For writing im ha'shecha with the evening before nightfall on Friday. The enu Yehudi adat adnafshi kavet. Over there, when the goy is gonna work on your leather, the hide of the animal, he's going to work on it. For what is he doing it, Moshe? Because he wants to get parnasah. He could do whatever he wants. He starts working on Friday night. It's his problem. I gave it to him Friday, even before Shabbat, right before Shabbat.
But Tana says no?
Yeah, no, we're allowed to.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're allowed to give it to him. He does whatever he wants to do. Because kivan de katzatz lo damim, since I told him I'm going to pay you $500 for the job. I didn't tell him I'm going to pay you per hour. I gave him per job.
So whenever he goes, he goes.
Yeah. Shatam hani she'en rebach le'Israel b'mesha haynu Yehudi oseh b'Shabbat. Over there, we are allowing that you're giving the goy to perform, to clear your hive for Shabbat, or prepare it for to use it as a kli, to use it, make it either sefer Torah out of it or to make clothing out of leather, right? Whatever the reason that you're going to do with it. There, you're not making any profit from the job of Shabbat. Because remember, you told him you're paying him $500. That's not a profit. There is no specific profit. Yes, you have a gain now. You have a beautiful leather that you could work with, but that's not. There is no profit in that right now. Right now, the work of Shabbat is not what's giving you a profit. Later on, you're going to sell it. You're going to make clothes out of it. Whatever you're going to do, you're going to make sefer Torah out of it. That's one thing. But right now, there is no specific gain from the guys working on Shabbat for you. אבל בסחירות כלים ידוע הוא שאם יתנה עם העין היהודי שישבות בהכלים, שישבית הכלים בשבת, לא ייתן לו סחירות כל כך, ירקח כיוון שיש רווח לישראל במה שהכלים נשכרים, אצל העין היהודי, בסתמה ועושה בהם מלאכה בשבת. No. Here is a big problem. Let's say you gave your tractor to a goy for a whole week, right? And you tell them, oh, by the way, at Shabbat you can't use it. Can you collect money for Shabbat? No. Since, he says Rabbi Yonah, since you're going to be losing money if you tell them don't work on Shabbat, right? Now you're making actually money from his working on Shabbat. You hear the difference? If you rented to him keli, and you told him you can't work on Shabbat, so you're going to be losing money. So that since you didn't tell him, and now that you're making actual profit, over there he says you can't compare it when you give leather to a goy to make it better, to refine the hive. Over there is no actual gain. He could do it today, he could do it tomorrow. He chose to do it on Shabbat, he's doing it for himself. You have no specific gain because he does it today or tomorrow, it's the same profit for you. There's no difference. But when you're renting a tractor on Shabbat for the whole week, and if you would have told them don't work on Shabbat, that would have made you lose money. So says Rabbi Yonah, that is why if you're renting a tractor, you're not allowed to rent it to him for Shabbat. Your tractor cannot work on Shabbat, says Rabbi Yonah. Because
so no matter what,
before what, yeah. Therefore, when he's working on Shabbat, Rabbi Yonah says, it will be seemed that he is working for you because everybody knows it says Rabbi Sofer's haulers,
So
trucks,
we're going back to
buses.
everything we said before.
Yeah,
for
Rabbi
taking-
Yonah is completely saying it's asur.
And we
Finish.
follow by Yonah?
No.
Ah,
No, he's just telling you that yesh omrim.
okay, יש אומרים.
Okay, okay. מה שאין כן כשמוסר לו ברביעי וחמישי מותר. However, no, Rabbeinu Yonah specifically was speaking that if you're renting it to him on Shabbat, not what we just said. But if you did rent it Thursday and Friday, it's not a problem. Now that he's working full time, because he just wanted to point out that this whole idea, if you tell a boy don't work on Shabbat, you're losing money, so therefore on Shabbat you're not allowed to make money. If he's not holding like other Rishonim, because the other Rishonim didn't learn the Braita like him. Remember, the other Rishonim said that whoever the Beit Shammai holds that it's Shvut Kelim. That's why we don't follow Beit Shammai. That's why all the Rishonim say specifically you're allowed to work on Shabbat, allowed to give the renting on Shabbat because we want to go against Beit Shammai. Specifically. Yeah. Remember, that's another concept. Remember that Mishnah in Berachot. I'm sure you learned it many times. Rabbi Tarfon says a story. Beit Shammai, I followed Beit Shammai, and the rabbi said you should have been murdered for that. You should have been killed for that. Chutzpan. How dare you go against Beit Hillel? You're not allowed. Halakha is Beit Hillel. You're not allowed to follow Beit Shammai. So all the Rishonim here say we must allow it. And that's why Rav Ovadia is also allowing it. Not like the Achronim. Achronim are more, today is political correctness. Come on, people are going to think, ba-ba-ba, ba-ba-bi, ba-ba-boo. Rav Ovadia, who was very mekir on many things, and he's very meticulous, obviously, about Kiddush Hashem, and not to cause any problems, still over here, he's telling you, rent it to a goy, not a problem at all. Specifically, we don't want to hold like Beit Shammai. But Rabbeinu Yonah says, no, it's not a problem with Beit Shammai. That's not the reason why the Braita, even though Gemara discusses the Beit Shammai issue, Rabbeinu Yonah says, who says that that's Braita is Beit Shammai? I'm telling you, he's a Rishon. He's telling you this Braita has nothing to do with Beit Shammai at all. This Braita has to do with what? With the fact is the suspicion aspect, and if you hold of suspicion, it will be taka asur to make a rental for Shabbat to a goy. That's Rabbeinu Yonah. I'm telling you, gentlemen, amazing Rabbeinu. You see what's going on here, guys? Why are we here? Hopefully we'll continue tomorrow with beautiful insights in the Mishnah Berurah. Who needs to make money, go make money with savlanut, with patience, without anybody bothering you, without anybody torturing you. It should be easy, B'ezrat Hashem.